The White House seems to be a catastrophe. It's crazy. It's Mishigas, a good Yiddishism. It's Michigan. It's just confusing craziness.
This is heading toward the end, right? It has to be, right?
So now, who's the crazy aunt and uncle? There are politicians and there are humans. This is a politician.
In too many parts of the world, especially in the Middle East, there's been a breakdown of order that's been building for decades. And it's unleashed forces that are going to take a generation to resolve.
This is a human.
They're sneaky, dirty rats.
This is a politician.
We will prevail because America is a great country. We will prevail because America is a great country that can withstand even some of the present circumstances.
This is a human.
How am I doing? Am I doing okay? I'm president. Hey, I'm president. Can you believe it, right? I don't know.
So, when a politician is told that a friend is toxic, he'll drop him like a hot potato with syphilis. But a human being with no political experience relies on something called loyalty. Maybe that's why Donald Trump said to James Comey, hey, go easy on Mike Flynn. Now, that's not political, but it's human. Come to think of it, every Trump error is human, not political. Defending Flynn, human. Talking to the Russians, same thing. Trump thinks sharing information about a shared enemy creates a friendship. Humans do this. It's called gossip. If I tell you what Lou Dobbs does before every show, you'll like me more. It's true. FYI, he eats a mouse. So Trump's not a Beltway pro. He's a salesman from Queens. He could sell cooties to a 6-year-old. Everything's a blunt negotiation, and the only difference is he's open about it. What's discussed behind closed doors, bribes, bombings, waterboarding, Trump says it to your face. Of course I gave money to the Democrats. Of course waterboarding works. ISIS, I say, bomb the out of them. Donald Trump believes that you deal with the bad to prevent the worst. So the media, who still can't accept we elected a cat, not a dog, screams when he refuses to fetch. True, Trump doesn't make it easy. His public combativeness scares a media that prefers fighting anonymously. And this paints a fat target on him, one that Rachel can't resist.
I am 44 years old. I'm 44 years old. 44 years ago today, 44 years ago today, in 1973, the televised Watergate hearings.
How old is she again? And you better buy this Russian story or else you're a denier.
It's deny, deflect, downplay.
Right.
That's basically what the coverage is these days.
All about providing a counter narrative. The Trump White House helps do this, but really it's pro-Trump media that help do this. Provide a counter narrative for people to share on their Facebook pages, to share on Twitter, and to discuss with their friends.
Oh, God forbid, discussing this with your friends. Oh, my God, you mean a point of view that you dopes didn't think of? And so it seems like Hillary's plan is working. Remember who pushed the Russian tampering story? Hillary. See, it's Russia's fault that she lost. Despite being the most lifeless candidate since Carl Geary ran for mayor of Tracy City, Tennessee. He was dead at the time. He still won. Unlike Hillary, she lost. Here's why.
Now, having said all this, why aren't I 50 points ahead, you might ask?
We never asked. Anyway, I've never been a defender of Trump, but remove his personality flaws and you find ideas that his critics secretly love but were too scared to voice. Trump was pro-law and order, was willing to call out radical Islam, challenged the lunacy of the politically correct, which leads to a real truth that politically, this human being, Trump, is agreeable. His behavior, not so much. So it's war, Mean Girls style, over really dumb stuff. And it's done in a world beset by dark forces that laugh at our petty outrages. Behind closed doors, Trump, maybe he leaned on Comey. Behind closed doors in other places, they'll strangle you with dental floss. You saw those Turkish henchmen beat up protesters the other day? That was in our country. That's how the rest of the world is. It's men in bad suits who know exactly where to kick you just for fun. That attack on our turf shows you how America would be if there was no America to be. It's something the left never considers. It's something Trump thinks about every day. If only he could say it better. Yes. Sit down. Sit down. All right, let's welcome tonight's guests. While you were watching Scrubs, he killed bin Laden. He has a new book detailing how he did it. It's called The Operator. Former Navy SEAL Rob O'Neill. Thank you. While Rob was killing bin Laden, this guy was directing Scrubs. Actor, writer, and comedian Michael McDonald. He has a new show called Nobodies on TV Land. She's cranky and lanky, and you can take that to the banky. Host of the Fox News specialist, Kat Timpf. And the pyramids are his doorstop. Former bodyguard and my massive sidekick, Tyrus. All right. Rob.
Yes.
Is Trump too human to be president?
I think it's not that he's too human. I think everyone's too politician. It's like everyone there is either a congressman or a former congressman or a senator that used to be a governor. There's a lot of things we need to fix, and term limits obviously is one of them. People right now in Washington, they're so worried about party politics, they don't really care about the country. What can I do for myself to keep myself in power, and how can I keep my party in power? And it's complete nonsense.
Yeah.
I mean, even they're mad at Joe Lieberman today because he used to be a Democrat, but then he supported McCain and was for the war in Iraq, and they called Lieberman a fanatic.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't picture him like painting his face and streaking at a football game.
Although I would like to see that.
I'd pay admission for that.
Yes, exactly. You know, Michael.
What is it, Greg? What's on your mind?
I have a pain in my lower back. No, I get this vibe that like, oh, if Trump was more traditional or more political, somehow he'd be accepted. But no, they would hate him a little bit less.
I was just watching all of the coverage between the press and Trump. It reminds me, I feel like each side has been given a script to Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
Like one of the fights between Snooki and then one of the meatheads.
Sammy and Ronnie was always the best fights.
Okay, there you go. So one of them is Sammy and one of them is Ronnie, but I don't know who.
Yes.
It's literally like they're just talking, and who was it? Comey's friend was like, I'm here to tell you what Comey really thinks.
Yes.
It's just like they're doing one of those like smush room interviews or something.
That's what drove me crazy. The press got the information from the memo from his friend calling them. It is so Mean Girls. It is Jersey.
They were even saying that he wore a suit to camouflage himself with the drapes so no one could see him. I mean, the guy's 6'13". He's not going to hide with the drapes.
He hid in the drape.
He was so embarrassed.
That's my favorite news story of all time. Of all time.
Hiding in drapes?
That he purposely was wearing a suit to try to blend in with the drapes. Yes. If that's true, he's getting up in the morning saying, okay, what's the decor of where we're going to be and what am I going to wear because otherwise Trump will talk to me and then maybe he'll hug me.
Yeah, it's like, thank God they don't have like lunches at Fridays. He'd have to cover himself in buttons.
He was like reenacting that old Carol Burnett sketch where she wears the drapes in the Gone with the Wind or something and tried to hide.
It's hilarious. Tyrus, the problem with Trump, and you nailed this. We talked about it. What is it about Trump that gets him into trouble?
His mouth. Like,
yes.
Trump was born in an era where you tell it like it was.
Yes.
There's not many of them left that aren't in homes or heavily medicated. Mm-hmm. And Trump gets mad, and he might have a great plan, but someone says something he doesn't like, he feels he has to fight everything.
Right.
And I'm kind of similar. When I get mad, I'll say a bunch of stuff, and I might bring up some things that aren't even accurate at the moment because I'm just mad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And but I'm more mad at his advisors.
Yeah.
They're not doing their job. If he had a great advisor, like when I bodyguard for Snoop did some dumb things I wouldn't allow him to do. I wouldn't allow him to hurt himself verbally, like interviews and stuff like that. And he fired me on so many occasions.
Yeah.
Because he was upset at me at that moment. But then when it was over, he was like, hey, I'm glad I didn't say that. I could have lost that gig. And then he rehired me.
Yeah.
There needs to be some of his guys getting fired.
You need to be
like,
Trump's bouncer.
taking the phone and just saying, hey, no, let it go, boss. You're the main event. Let it go. No. You know, and just do a lot of this with him. You know, because he's killing himself. Democrats aren't this clever.
Yeah.
They have no plan.
Yeah.
They're just, like, no offense to the dog, but they're like dogs chasing the tire. There's a dog, there's a service dog here. But I'm just saying.
There's certain things that he is really bad at, though. Like, even for a human. His staff, and then him will frequently come out saying opposite, contradicting things. Celebrities can figure that out. When Justin Bieber peed in that mop bucket, he waited till him and his team had one unified, this is our pee mop bucket statement. Bieber wasn't saying, oh, it was one thing, and then someone else said something like this, and people would be saying, well, what really happened with that bucket? Which is exactly what's happening now in America.
Well, I think we should end on the bucket note. I just believe, I think to Tyrus's point, I do believe it's a generational thing. He comes from another time where your personality and your decorum is secondary to doing your job. It's like when you watched Mad Men and all the salesmen were just disgustingly crude, but if they made their quota, it didn't matter that they were so crude to people. And I think that's what we're seeing. But before we go to break, Tyrus has something interesting to share. Tyrus?
Thanks, Greg. I just want everyone out there to know that being the White House press secretary is a ridiculously tough job. And the other day at the gym, Spicer and I were working out, and I asked him, yo, can I fill in for a day?
Yeah.
And he was like, if you finish this spot with me, you got it. And I did, and I got a chance to do it. And I got to tell you, it's a tough job. What it is. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Let's keep this short and sweet. First question, yes, John Roberts.
You do say, though, that national security has been put at risk by the leak of this. Do you have any idea?
John, I got to stop you right there. Love that pink tie. Takes a big man to wear a pink tie. Can we get a show of hands if how many people think here that John's pink tie is awesome? Thought so. Next question.
There may be a lot more in common between President Trump and the new President Emmanuel Macron of France. Would the president look forward to maybe even inviting me here to the La Maison Blanche?
I don't know about all that, but damn, that's a tremendous French accent. How do you say that again?
La Maison Blanche.
Maison Blanche?
Maison Blanche.
I give up. Love it, though. Plus 10 points for the accent. Next question. Yes, the guy who couldn't bother to bring a pen.
Is President Trump still committed to his 15% corporate tax rate? He's also under pressure to keep some existing...
Sorry, dozed off there. Look, we're getting off topic. I came in here to tell you how much I love the White House press pool. You're the most rational, measured, non-confrontational group of people in the history of journalism.
Do you stick by that assertion?
Yeah. And let me say, good sir, that you have the best hair in the room. You got a problem with that? That's what I thought. Have a good day. Deuces.
All right. Coming up, I got 3 surprise guests here to talk about President Trump's first foreign trip. But first, how did the media handle all of Trump Russian news this week? Would it surprise you if I said badly?